All right, here we go. Dave Peterson, videographer Mark Higgins on the camera. We're going to talk to you today about maintenance on an Antec Legend. This, of course, is a revolutionary technology, uses a floating print head, as you can see here, dual indexing, and what this is all about is it isolates the print head from the center of the machine. Let me show you how that works. There you can see the print head isolated from the center of the machine. In order for this machine to provide flawless precision for decades, which it will, you need to keep the machine loose and lubricated. That's the name of the game. So we're going to explain the lubrication on this machine. Firstly, we have a grease fitting under each of the print heads. Mark is going to get under there and show you the grease fitting. That grease fitting is there so you can take a grease gun, standard wheel bearing grease. I like to use the amber colored stuff. Put a shot of grease up in there once every 12 months and that will keep your print head sliding in and out. The whole functionality of this machine is based on every time you bring the screen up, the carrier needs to slide back to all the way to the center of the machine in what we call the home position. So in order to do that, these 4 floater bolts need to be loose and the machine needs to be lubricated. While we're on the floater bolts, I'm going to show you how to check the floater bolts. Let me get my blade over here. I'm going to pop one of these black caps off here. We put the black caps on so that people don't see this thing sliding around and they say, oh look, the guys at Antec forgot to tighten these bolts. And of course they get a wrench and they tighten the bolts and of course the machine stops operating properly. It's like welding the wheels of your car to the axle. It's not going to work. So especially for you folks that may have had the opportunity to pick up a used Legend machine, you don't know what you're getting. You don't know what the people have done to it out in the field. So we want you to check the floater bolts. So you're going to take a 7/16 socket, put the print head down into registration as it is now, take the 7/16 socket, go to each floater bolt, and if you have one of the later machines with the black caps, you're going to have to pop them off. You should be able to turn each floater bolt with finger pressure only. This lets you know that the bolt is loose enough to let the head slide in and out the way it's supposed to properly. Perfect precision essentially forever. Small price to pay for perfect precision, maintaining the machine. So that's it on the floater bolts. Let's talk about the micros for a minute. Every 12-month interval, same time you lubricate the floating head, we want you to pop the red plate off the micro. When we assemble the machine, we use grease between the 2 sliding plates inside the micros. After the fact, you can't get grease in between the sliding plates. So what we recommend you do, you'll notice that there's 2 holes cut inside the top pan inside. We want you to scrape the old grease out of the holes and start using light oil. 4 or 5 drops of 3-in-1 oil or sewing machine oil into each of the holes. That light oil will get between the plates. It'll mix with the old grease. It'll keep your micros fluid so that the grease doesn't get sticky in there and the micros start sticking up on you. You don't want that to happen. So light oil in the micros every 12 months, put the plate back on, put the knobs back in place. Let's talk about any of the threaded parts. The screen clamp knobs, the off contact adjustment knobs, the locking knobs, the micro adjustment knobs, they all have threaded rods. A little bit of lubricant, a little Vaseline, a little bit of grease, keep them clean and lubricated. The machine will go for decades without needing any parts. So important to keep things clean and lubricated. Let's talk about the pivot bolt. This is an important part of the machine operating properly. The pivot bolt is tightened to a degree that allows the print head to come down and stay down without any screen into the machine. Those of you that have had the machine for a while, when you bring the screen arm down into registration, what may happen is the print head may pop up on you like this. And that's because the pivot bolt has gotten a little bit slick. The way that you fix that, you take 2 9/16 wrenches, one on each of these nuts, simultaneously snug them, push the print head down into registration. If it pops back up again, snug the nuts a little bit more, until you can put the print head down and it stays down by itself. That's the way the machine is designed to be adjusted. The actual snugging of this bolt helps the spring to keep the print head in an up position and a down position. Plus, it makes loading screens easy because you don't have to hold the screen clamp down while you're loading into the machine. So that's the way you keep that adjusted. You may have to do that once every few years. It'd take you 5 minutes for the whole machine to snug the bolts enough to keep the print head down. That's basically it. We're going to touch on the main rotational bearings. These are designed for thousands of RPM use 24 hours a day. And this application can last for 1,000,000 years. They don't need lubrication. If you want to put a grease gun on there and put a shot of grease in there, it's not going to hurt anything, but it's not necessary. That's basically it on the machine. Loose and lubricated is the name of the game. If you have any questions, call us 800-552-6832. We'll look to hear from you. Enjoy your machine.